Hey guys, today I'm going to walk you through some of the changes that we've made to our broadcast audio setup. I'm going to walk through our bus setups, matrix, effects, audience mics, and just different A and B examples of how this type of mix can get you a better sound online. I'm also going to include in the description of this video this scene file for our M32, which I think will work with an X32 if you want to dive in a little bit deeper into even like our gates, compressors, all those different things. So let's dive into it.
We sing to the God who heals. We sing to the God who saves. We sing to the God who always makes a way. 'Cause he hung up on that cross, then he rose up from that grave, and my God still rolling stones away. There was a moment when the sky lit up, a flash of light breaking through. When all was lost, you crossed eternity. The King of life was on the move, yeah. For in a dark, cold tomb, a million angels fall, face down on the floor, all to echo, "Holy is the Lord." My heart can't help but sing with all of heaven roar, forever echo, "Holy is the Lord." Oh, oh, forever echo, "Holy is the Lord."
So if you liked what you heard there, let me show you how we're achieving that. So we're running the M32 here, and our stream mix is made up of two buses that are then grouped down into a stereo matrix. So this is just the room mix that you would get if you went straight off the board. Now I'm going to solo out the broadcast mix.
Standing at the end of time,
Again, here's just the board mix,
there before the throne of grace,
broadcast mix.
majesty before my
This matrix
eyes.
right here is a sum
I'll let
of
it
these two
take my
buses right here.
breath away.
So I'm just soloing and unsoloing here.
A million angels fall, face down on the floor, all to.
So the easiest way to set this up is to go to one of your buses and to go to the config tab, and you're going to link them with this button right here. That will make a stereo pair for your bus. Then you're going to create a separate mix with that bus of your channels. So you select one of them, you hit fade or flip, and then you're going to go on your banks and make a separate mix of your starting levels in that mix. So if we unfade or flip it, this is the house mix to start, but this is the mix going to the stream bus. You can see that my pastor's mic is a lot louder. Our handheld for just announcements is a lot louder. Our host mics for pre-stream are a lot louder. And then our crowd mics, our ambient crowd mics, are also mixed in. But, and those are post-fader. Everything is post-fader. These crowd mics are not in our main output mix, obviously, though. So those aren't coming back through the speakers. But that is all going to this stereo bus right here. Now, if you look here at the bus send, it is assigned as a post-fader bus. But if we go to our drums, it is actually a pre-fader bus. And now if I do the same fader flip, you can see that the only thing in here are my drum channels: kick, snare, sample pad, toms, hi-hat, ride, snare bottom, and those are all separately mixed here and sending over to this drum bus, okay? Now we need to get these two buses in the same matrix. So we set up a stereo matrix the same way. If we select a matrix and we go into the config tab and we link them, that would make it stereo. And then all we're going to do is fade or flip that and go over to our buses. And here you can see that I've got my buses mixed in that matrix just equally, and then they come together in this stereo matrix. Now, something new that we've done that really has kind of changed the game for us is that even though we're mono in the room, we've started to incorporate true stereo inputs from our electric guitar and our keys players. So I wanted to show you the difference that this can make. Previously, we were just panning a mono signal one way or the other, but having these true stereo signals has really opened it up to allow more space for vocals to sit in the middle. So let me just show you what that sounds like. So I'm going to solo out just my stereo electric guitar lead and my stereo keys, and hear that in stereo here. This is mono. So I definitely encourage you to try something like that. Even though we're mono house, this is just for our in-ears, which has been a game changer, and the broadcast mix. So now let me just walk through the effects that we're putting on this broadcast mix. So if I come down to effects, we can see that our first effect is a vintage room reverb. If you want to steal our settings, there they are. We have that assigned to this effects knob right here, and it's usually run at 12 o'clock. And that is just for our vocals only. If we go to our effects number 2, this is the reverb that we use for our drums. This is assigned only to our snare and toms, and it just gives it a lot more life for your drums. And that's also assigned to this encoder right here, where we can dial that in to taste. This third spot is not used. This fourth spot is our delay for our vocals. We use the stereo delay, and we have the mix of it assigned to this encoder, and then our tap tempo assigned to this tap tempo spot right here. On our first insert effect, this is the precision limiter that's going to the matrix. And here are our settings for that. We're just knocking off just a few dB. And then we've got our squeeze at 10, knee at 3, attack at 0.05, release at 126. And that just helps get everything up to a really, really loud level for the broadcast mix. And if we play something, that's pre-limiter. And I guess I'll unsolo those real quick. This is without the limiter. So there you go. Our next insert here that we're using on our kick and snare is the wave designer. So this first input, I believe, is our kick, and then our second input is our snare. And that is just going to help add a little more punch to these waveforms. And so our third insert is the dual leisure comp that we're using on our two background vocalists. And we've got these settings right here for it. And it just kind of helps glue those background vocals together just a little bit more. Our fourth insert is the stereo enhancer, and I can let you listen to that. And what that does, that is being inserted on our bus mix that is the stream mix, the post fader mix, not the drums, okay? So this is just affecting that. I'll uninsert it and insert it. So definitely it's doing some stuff there. We've got it boosting a little bit on the low and the top and just giving a little more spread There's our settings for the stereo enhancer. And yeah, I like it. It seems to be adding a nice little flavor to it. One piece of the puzzle that you do need to tackle is getting audience mics set up. We've got 2 shotgun mics, since our ceiling is pretty high, mounted on either side of our center array, and we don't have to time align those because they're pretty much right in line with our speakers. Those are good for what we're using them for. Obviously, don't put those in your mix. I would just put a big EQ curve on that where you're top shelving and low shelving a lot of those out, and you're just trying to get mainly that congregation vocal when things get lower. Okay, you don't want to mix it too hot, but when things get lower, you want to be able to hear people singing, applauding, laughing, doing those sorts of things. And we're pretty happy with where the mix is sitting now. I'm sure I'll be changing more stuff in the future, but for now, this is how we've got it set up. Feel free to grab a link to that file, the scene file, in the description of this video. If you're a subscriber to the email list, you've already gotten that link in your email. So just grab it there and you can dive into the minutia of our gates and compressors on every single channel and how we've got this set up, and learn from it and make it work in your situation, right? All right, guys, if you like this video, why not like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Always just trying to help out my fellow worship and tech friends. And remember, we can do a lot of great things, but it's all got to be for God's glory. All right, we'll see you in the next one.